Hey dipshit, what you doing out there in the middle of the Dadburn Lake? Paddling around in the waves like a seal on drugs.
Hey guys, this is Bird. My channel, Fishing with Bird. For the new guys, welcome to my channel. For those of you who've been around for a minute, welcome back. I don't have a whole lot going on with subscribers and views, but like people are showing up, and I've got some new subscribers in the last couple weeks, and it's been a banner year for me. Like, I've really been doing well. I've been getting on fish I didn't think I would ever see in my life. I made this channel because it was something that I always really wanted to do. That's why I have heroes on YouTube that are just catching fish, huge fish all the time, and I just wanted to do what they did, and so I got this channel. And anyway, so I wanted to introduce myself, really, to mostly for the new subscribers. I don't know who any of you are. I just see that I got a new subscriber here and there, and so anyway, my name's Chris, and I go by Bird on this channel. And the story is really, it's kind of a nickname, and I got it starting out when I was in like middle school, and then probably the first year or two of high school. And all the girls referred to me as, they called me Bird. And I doubt that they were flirting, but maybe they were, but most likely not, because I don't know. But all the guys, all the haters, all the hater dudes they called me ostrich. Like, I was gangly, 6'5", 200 pounds. Actually, I was like probably 170 back then. Big, size 15 feet. And so it was like a great opportunity for everybody to take stock in the fact that I was not like normal people. And then, I got good grades. I was weird looking. Getting good grades and like sticking to yourself is really not cool when you're that age. So I had these nicknames, and when it came time for me to put this channel together, it's obviously Fishing with Bird sounds a lot better than Fishing with Ostrich, and it also lends itself to some marginally clever video titles. And so that's who I am. I'm originally from California, San Bernardino. I was born there. My folks, they were retired now, Air Force people, military, so moved around a lot, and I lived in a lot of different places. Kansas is where I call home now, and I'm out on a kayak catching catfish and trying to find the biggest fish I can. I'm pushing myself every time I go out. And anyway, next we're going to take a look at my entire rig. Anybody can do this. I don't have the most expensive gear in the world, and so I'm gonna run through everything that I have, and you guys can see. I'm just an everyday dude out there, fucking doing what he can and having a good time and enjoying his life. And so we're gonna step outside here in a second and take a look at all of my gear, and then we're gonna shoot to a clip of me getting on a fish this last weekend. Pretty good fish. It was a tough day, just coming off a full moon. Waters were tough. The weather was back and forth, but I did get on a fish, and I feel good about that, because when conditions are tough and you can still find fucking good fish, you're fucking playing the game right. You're winning, and it's yourself against things that you don't have a whole hell of a lot of control over. So anyway, stick around here. We're gonna step outside here and take a look at my gear. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me. New subscribers, people have stuck with me. Let's keep it going. Anyway. Alright guys, let's take a look here. This is without a doubt the most fantastic kayak I feel like is available for somebody like me on a fairly limited budget and not trying to haul around something that weighs 1,000,000 pounds. This is the Sea Ghost 130. as you can see there. And it's made by a company called Vibe Kayaks, as you can see there. I'm a member of, they have a Facebook group that's also a lot of people on there. And, you know, we're proud of the company whose products we put out and are use for what we do. And so, you know, we're kind of, you know, it's fun. It's a lot of fun. We talk a lot of shit. You know, we bicker back and forth, but we're all super supportive of each other, and we all stand behind the product that we use. So anyway, Vibe Kayaks, great, and I'm gonna explain to you why. Let me back up here for a second. This kayak is 13 feet long. The Seaghost 130, with the 1 and a 3 representing the 13 feet, I guess. They make several other different boats for different purposes. From what I know, they're all awesome. This is the one that I chose because I fish big water. It gets rough, but I also need to get from spot to spot quickly by myself with a paddle, and this is what I picked. So Vibe Kayaks, Seaghost 130. It's an awesome boat. Let me give you a bit here. So storage, lots and lots of storage in this kayak. As you can see here, we have your aft storage, and it's got a dry bag in there. That's usually where I keep my lunch, and fresh bottles of water. Moving up forward here, the Vibe Kayak Hero seat. I'm not even gonna lie. There are times when I'm out. I spend 26 hours in this seat without getting out of the seat. I have slept overnight while anchored in this seat. The bolts that bolt the seat together, every once in a while I get to reclining and going back and forth in the thing, and they'll come loose a bit. So you got to make sure, just like anything, it's just like any bolt, you know, it moves a bunch. You got to tighten it, make sure you tighten it, sort of thing. But extremely comfortable seat, and I'm 6'5", about 200 pounds, got a real bony ass. I'm fishing 26 hours in this seat, not a problem. Right here we've got my bait knife. That's the Bubba blade. It was recommended to me. I'm not super impressed. It's a 6-incher. It's kind of flimsy, and it's not nearly as sharp as I feel like it should be for the price. I'm probably going to get myself some kitchen shears, but it still cuts up bait. I make it work, but I'm not going to lie, there's times I'm afraid I'm going to cut my fucking hands off with that thing. Here we have the center console, the Vibe Kayak Seaghost 130, and also the Ghost 110 has the same console. This is actually the console that you will find on the 2019 model. My kayak is a 2018, and it came with the old center console. It did not have the hinge. And this thing is tight as fucking shit. It was worth every penny I spent. This console is retrofitted. You can put it on, I don't know, as far back as they've been making these yaks, I'm pretty sure you can retrofit this thing on there. So, worth every penny. We've got this here. This opens up. It's not a huge compartment, but I keep my pliers in there, so I know where they are. They're out of the way. This right here has got a magnet underneath there, and so if you're using lures or you need something, you want to set something down a second, you don't want to have to search for it later. This magnet is awesome. If my balls were metal, I would strap them to my legs because this thing would suck my metal balls to it. Not even kidding. Alright, so you unlatch these, and you can bolt these in. They have 3 different settings. You can have it super tight, perhaps if you're trying to paddle through surf to get out into this ocean or whatever, or you can keep it loose. I don't know why you'd want to have it loose, but you unlatch those, and this opens up, and this is a secret stash spot. Not all that secret, but it runs the length of this console, and I usually keep these. I keep these spoons in here. As you can see, these are Walmart brand. I've only ever seen them at Walmart. Made in fucking USA, right? Pot of gold spoons. This is what I catch my bait on. And I keep these here so that I have access to them whenever I want. I keep some extra paracord up here for different things. You never know when you're going to need paracord. Paracord's great. It's great. So anyway, go ahead and launch that back up. And this also comes with, there's a hinge here. So this, obviously you saw this entire thing folds forward. And the space goes all the way up. You have a nice cup holder here. My favorite Odell IPAs. One of my favorite beers. Always ready. Right there. Skipping away from the kayak itself, we'll go to what's next here. And this is a Garmin Striker 4 fish finder. I bought this in a portable pack. It was available. You could buy the unit by itself, or you could spend a little more and get this portable pack. So it comes in this portable carrying case, which zips up. This flap folds over, and then it zips down from there and down from there, whichever way you are feeling it. And then inside of here, it attaches to this battery that it comes with. This fucking battery is the shit. Like I said, I fished 26 hours straight, taken a 2 or 3 hour nap, and fished another 10 hours. And this battery is, I've never used a 1/12 of what this battery load is. Not once, not ever. Doesn't have any memory. I charge it between trips full, and I've never, ever, ever used even a 1/12 of what it has available. So, moving on. What we have next here is my Anchor Wizard, and this is a product that a lot of kayakers are familiar with. It's basically a giant reel that you can clip to your gear tracks. This screw here is one in the front as well, and I'll get to that next. Spooled with paracord. I'm not the happiest with this. The design is awesome, but the execution is pretty fucking bad. I'm looking for, right now I'm in the market for a paracord that's just as strong, but is actually thinner in diameter so that I can, this has got like 75 feet of rope on it. And once you drop this thing down, it doesn't have any sort of level wind. And I'll show you here in a second. This is the front. So this is where the rope comes out, and it just, you turn this crank, you know, and it winds it up, and it's great. It does what it's supposed to do, but it balls up in the middle, and when you got that much paracord on here, there's friction, and it gets hard to turn, and it's just kind of a pain in the ass. So I'm going to mark it right now for something a bit better as far as paracord. Otherwise, it's a great product. It's a game changer. I can drop my anchor right where I want to. I can let out enough line so that I don't get fucking sunk by wake boats and pontoons and all those other fuckers. You know, you want to have some lead, so I can do that. And if I want to move, I can crank this thing up, and I'm gonzo. It's tight. Great design. The execution, I think there was some details that probably are missed. Anyway, so moving on. Obviously, it goes without saying that this kayak has gear tracks. Pretty much everything, if you're a fisherman, is gear track mountable. It's basically, you know, it's got a slot in there and it's bolted down, and you have these screws here, and then they're attached to that, and they slide in here, and you can move them about to and fro. It's great. These are the rudder controls. There's one on either side of the kayak. I don't use these. I put my feet on them, and that's where my feet go. I don't use the rudder. I think mainly because there's like an extra rope. It's just extra things, and I just don't really need. My kayak is already fucking loaded to the max. Anyway, so we'll move up here. We got our front storage. I typically don't keep anything in here but rain gear. I got my Magellan rain jacket and rain pants I keep in there. This is removable, just like is the back hatch. And if I fish 2 spinning rods between spots, and I troll spoons to catch bait. And then once I get to my spot, I stow 1 spinning rod down here, and I keep the other one in the back, so that when I get bored, I can cast more bait. And it latches it nicely. This motherfucking thing seals well. I got hammered by rain on the way to the lake this last weekend, and there was like 4 drops of water in the hole. Period. Baller. So up here, this is the chute for the Anchor Wizard. I modified this rig because I wanted to make sure that I always had my bow pointed towards any shit that's coming towards me. So what I did was, this is actually here, used to be the plug, a drainage plug. Well, I took that out and I put this shit in here. And I've got this, I got a piece of foam stadium cushioning to make sure that I don't wreck the top of my boat. And then I've got these bolts here, and they go in, and underneath them there are wing nuts and washers, and it screws in tightly, it's nice and in place, nothing's ruined. Anchor chute works beautifully. Right now I've got it tied up with this. I use this for travel. I don't want this hanging down and getting wind. You know, the less stress you make on your equipment, the better. Your anchor rope comes out of the front of this, that paracord as I was telling you, and that attaches to this guy. Cheap anchor that you buy at Dick's or Academy or wherever. I use a 3-pounder claw anchor, folds up, this thing locks down, and that fits nicely right in here. And then I pull it up, it's there, and then I let it go and it goes down, and I'm locked and loaded, ready to fish on spot. Okay, over here we have, this is a ram mount, camera mount. It works, but it's just like the Anchor Wizard. It's a great idea, but the execution and the engineering is kind of freaking lacking. There's too many moving parts. You got joints here, and you get another joint down here, and I cannot keep this thing tight. None of these things stay tight at all. So, I get into some really rough water. This thing moves around a little bit, and I'm just not super impressed with it. But I make it work. Anyway, Scotty rod holder. Scotty rod holder over here. Scotty rod holder in the back. I run 3 rods. That's legal in Kansas. Take a look at the set here. You can see the GoPro mount. I got a rod holder on my left, a rod holder on my right, and a rod holder in the back in the corner. I keep this one on, I'm right-handed, so I want to be able to turn and burn and grab this with my right hand when I get a fish. So that's how it works. Alright, so the fishing gear itself, Abu Garcia Ambassador 7000 Catfish Special. These reels fucking kick ass. I started out, I didn't have any money to afford anything, and I had cheap ass reels. I upgraded to these. These are like the smoothest driving tank. A 3rd grader could use these reels. They're awesome. These are they're Chinese made. They're not made in Switzerland, but the company still upholds its warranty if something were to happen to these, but I don't see anything happening. These reels are badass. I have 2 of these. Mr. Catfish Cat Series. You buy these at Dick's Sporting Goods. Most cat fishermen, probably any pros, would look at me and go, Jesus Christ, dude, these are junk. But really, if you watch my videos, you know that this fucking rods, they pump in the fish. I use 9-footers. I feel like the 9-foot rods, I get leverage. A lot of dudes are using the shorter boat style rods, going after the deep sea fishermen are using the shorter, thicker rods. This is a medium heavy 9-footer. I really like the leverage I get with this rod. 4-ounce egg sinker, bead, swivel, 50-pound monofilament leader to a 12-aught Team Catfish circle hook. Team Catfish makes awesome products. I used using the double action for a while. That's a different kind of hook than this. It's a little more angled, and you can set the hook with that rather than just a circle hook. If you set the hook, you fucking might as well just kill yourself. You're not going to do shit. But a double action will allow you to set the hook if you're used to doing that. I find that the regular circles hold bigger baits, and I like to use bigger baits. So it's personal preference. My style of fishing, the Team Catfish 10-aught, just a normal circle hook, it does a job, period. You guys have seen my fish. That's how I roll. This leader runs to, I use 30-pound monofilament big cat, or trilene big game, actually, is what it is. This weight, as I said, 4 ounces, but I'll use bigger weights depending on if I'm drifting, or if the wind's really bad and the tail of my boat's moving around in the anchor, just to make sure that I don't pendulum out, and then I make sure that I'm straight up and down. It's an important part of catfishing is making sure that you stay in a consistent depth. So, all right, we'll move on to the back of the boat here and the other gear I've got. So on the other side of the boat here, Plano tackle box, termy tackle, slip floats if I decide to drift, which I haven't done at all this year. A couple of different sizes of Team Catfish hooks, a few different sizes of weights. I have some pre-made leaders here. I haven't used a single one this year. I've been anchor fishing the entire time. These bungees, I'll show you on this one, these bungees here, pull this guy out, you can see those, they hold these Plano plastic tackle boxes perfectly. I smash these things with the fucking paddle all the time, they don't go anywhere. It's awesome. This is my other box. It's got some heavier weights, got some swivels in it, whatever. You know, if you fish catfish, you know you gotta have all that shit at your disposal. Back here, oh yes, this net that I got at Academy, I don't even know what brand it is, but it's foam and it's orange and it's short handle, and I could fit it in here. Matches the kayak, and it's lightweight, and it does the trick. Unfortunately, it's not big enough for the fish I've been catching lately. I'm having to face fuck them, basically, instead of putting them in net. So I'm looking for something a bit bigger. I don't know if I'm even going to be able to do that. Here we have the Yak Attack. It's upside down, or whatever. It's a Yak Attack flag, and this doubles is also, you turn this thing and the light comes on. I'm not going to do that right now. You won't be able to see it. It's perfect. I've used the shit out of it at nighttime. The battery doesn't die. It's had the same battery in it all year. It attaches to the gear track here, and this flag actually doubles as the bag. So this light pole folds down into sections. There's a section here, a separate section here, and this is a separate section, and this is a separate section. It all folds down, it pops apart just like tent poles, and it all fits in this bag. It's fucking awesome. I don't give a shit how it was like $100. I don't give a fuck. It's worth every penny. Back here, a lot of dudes use, they buy a milk, they do the milk crate thing, and different companies sell some milk crates. You pay a lot of money for them. I went to fucking Home Depot and I got this rigid bin. It's beautiful. And I zip tied that guy to it. And when I'm traveling, when I'm on the water, I put a rod in there. And it's beautiful. And it's right, it holds my thermos, soft bait container. This thing is badass. Don't bother with a Yeti. This thermos kicks ass. It holds ice forever. The only thing that I don't like about it is the zipper fouls up sometimes at the wrong time, but you know what I mean? Like, nobody makes anything that's perfect anymore. So for like a fourth of the amount of money, this is a great bait bag. In here I've got extra shit. I got scupper plugs. They're out right now. You know, bug spray. It's some Repel. It works all right. I got some extra mono main line. I got always keep extra leader line in case you got to retie. Another Scotty rod holder there, of course. And then I got a cheap ass cutting board from Walmart with a nice little handle on it. It fits right in the space there. It's beautiful. I take it out, I cut goddamn bait with it, put it right back, good to go. Last but not least in my rig, arguably the most important part, is my Astral Ronnie PFD. This life vest it's extremely comfortable. It was a little pricey, but it was worth every penny. I haven't almost drowned, so I'm assuming that it will save my life, but it's, you know, it's built to specs, and it's super comfortable for having a high back seat in a kayak like myself. It works great, it fits great, it feels like you don't even have it on until you take it off. Super important, safety first. Here we have Carl, who wants to be on camera. Hey, bud. Carl's my bud. So yeah, there we have it. Another thing I wanted to add, I almost forgot. This bead that you put between the weight and your swivel protects your knot. These weights are heavy, and they will fuck up your knots. And you don't want any weak links between yourself and the fish. So get a bead, man. If you're gonna Carolina rig style, put a fucking bead there. These blue cats, these other cats, they're not line shy. Use big leader. Some dudes use braid. I like the mono because I like to stretch. It works well with the longer rods. And anyway, all right, guys. So that's pretty much my rig. I know it looks a lot more complicated and sounds a lot more complicated than it actually is, but it's pretty bare bones. Mostly fishing gear, terminal tackle. Really, the only electronics I run are the fish finder, and that's only used for, you know, locating depth. I really just use it to let me know where I'm at on ledges. I use a Navionics app, or actually it's called Boating HD now, they changed it, but I have that app on my phone, and that tells me, there's a topo map, pretty much of any body of water that's not a river in the world, and I use it to tell me, I know what the topo is at Milford, which is my favorite lake, and so that tells me where I need to go, and my fish finder tells me when I'm there, if that makes any sense at all. Anyway, other than that, everything else is just, I gotta have a cooler for bait. I gotta keep bait cold. It's important and fresh. You know, I gotta have extra stuff because fish, especially fishing these ledges, man, you bust it off. You gotta tie on new leaders. You gotta have line. You gotta have weights. Gotta have spare hooks. If you don't have any of that shit, get the fuck off the water. So, anyway. We're gonna go to this clip here after this, and we're gonna see how this is all applied, and maybe that way when you're watching me bring these fish in, you kind of have a better idea of what it is that you're looking at, essentially. And anyway, I want to thank you guys so much. Like I said, I've got a couple of new subscribers, and it seems like some people have interest in what I'm doing, and it feels really good. It's awesome. I know I cuss a lot, but really that's my personality. I'm passionate, I get excited. That's just how I am. I really just don't fucking care. I say what I want, but I got a big heart, and I care a lot about the sport, and I care about conservation, and I'm a good guy, I'm smart. So don't get the wrong idea. Anyway, let's take a look at this next clip, and we can see some of this equipment in action. Thank you guys very much. What's up, guys? Fishing with Bird. Been a long morning, weather sucks, wind's shitty. I got a fucking beast on right now. This is good fish. Ate a goldeye head. Pulling the kayak around a little bit. bubbles yet, so oh, he's pulling. He, she, whatever. This is a fucking good fish. I'm sure you can tell by this video footage that this wind is blowing hard as fuck. Oh, there's the bubbles. This is a big one. Oh yeah. Good fish. Oh. Off and running. Didn't like seeing the kayak. Come on up here. Oh. Come over here. This is how it's done, kids. Not gonna fit in the net, you're gonna have to just grab it. Jesus fucking Christ. Oh. Come on in here. Oh, it's all fucking wrapped up near the line too. This is fucking gay. Come here. Come here. Oh, this is a pig. Yeah, that's how you do it. This is a fucking mess. Oh, my hands are fucked. These blue cats have teeth, by the way. They're sharp. Got him. I can't lift this thing into the fucking kayak. snagged up in this other line. Son of a fucking fork. Let go. I don't know. She might be 30 pounds ish. Good fish. Blue cat. Working my ass off out here. Finally got one in the kayak. Try to unwrap this thing and get her back in the water. Off she goes. Atta girl. Another episode of Fishing with Bird, catching tanks. Thanks for watching, guys.